everyone, it's Kate with Maritime Ceramics. Welcome back. Today I am doing some further testing on the glaze combinations that I liked from my 19 different glaze combinations video. I'll link to that down in the description below if you're interested. So in that video, what I had done was I took my dipping glazes and just tried a whole bunch of different layering options. There were a few that came out of that I was really interested in, and so I've gone on and I've done some larger tests. So this is round 2 and actually round 3 of the testing, because there's 2 different rounds of results that I'm going to show you today. I'm skipping the glazing part. It's just dipping things in buckets. It's not very interesting. The glazes that we're going to have a look at today are Laguna Power Turquoise, Coyote Amethyst, Spectrum's Floating Turquoise, and Amaco Snow Celadon, as well as the Misty Forest glaze, which is a glaze recipe created by Old Forge Creations. You can go to his website. He's got lots of great information on mixing your first glazes and recommendations on what ingredients to buy and all that good stuff. So let's dive into the first round of results. Okay, we have our testers out of the kiln. A bit of a mixed bag, as we would expect from testing. First off, the one that turned out exactly the way I expected it to, which is the Floating Turquoise with snow over top of it. This looks very much like the tester did. Maybe a little less of the browns coming through. That could be because this is reclaimed with a different mix of stoneware and porcelain, who knows, but still very pretty. I can see using this combo in my work for sure. It is a very beachy pool kind of vibe. Tester number 2 comes with a free coaster. This is the Floating Turquoise and Misty Forest combo. I haven't tried to get this off yet. I probably will give it a go, because these little feet, if I sand them down, I don't know that it's going to ruin the pot at all. It's kind of a funky looking pot. This actually does have kiln wash on it. Get it off? Let's try it. You and me together. No, I'll have to take it outside and take a hammer to it. There's some really hefty runs happening in there, that one. And then this guy just like completely ran off. I've been using kiln wash from the ceramic shop, which is beautiful. This is kiln wash from Pottery Supply House. Not as effective. I mean, in fairness, like, it had a lot to deal with here. It is nice. It is not nearly as magical as the test tile was. I am guessing that is because either I put this in without a slow cool, maybe, I don't remember, and more probably because the test tile was on red clay. So I was curious to see if the red clay test tile would translate well to white clay. I mean, it's not bad. It's interesting. It's a heck of a runner, but I'll try it when I have some red clay samples to try it on and see if I can get that magical look again. And our last test tile was my mug with, you can barely see it, it's barely there, S crack in the bottom. And this is Laguna Power Turquoise with amethyst over top. So this one, I would say probably what needs to happen is that I don't overlap entirely. So do a dip to Power Turquoise here and then just the amethyst up here, maybe. Because there is some interesting stuff happening here, but it kind of all slid down to the bottom. And again, this one ran quite a bit. Again, that kiln wash not working as well. So there's still potential here, but I think I haven't got an application combo quite right yet. Before I get into round 2 of the results, if you're enjoying this video, I'd love it if you hit the like button. That helps YouTube to know that people are interested in the video, which definitely helps the channel out. And if you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do that as well. Round 2 is out of the kiln, so let's have a look at these guys. With this round, I again learned from the results that came out of round 1, and I have taken a deeper dive on Laguna Power Turquoise and Coyote Amethyst and Spectrum's Floating Turquoise and Amaco Snow. So I didn't do Misty Forest in this round because I don't have red test tiles at the moment. And what I'm really seeing from those results is that the red clay makes a difference. And so I'm going to wait and I'll do those test tiles when I have some red ones. For the Power Turquoise and the Coyote Amethyst, what I did this time was I didn't completely overlap them. So learning from those last test tiles, this one I tried on an angle. So this section here is just Coyote Amethyst. This section here is just Power Turquoise. I will say that the Amethyst dip could have been longer. I am still kind of dialing in the Coyote Amethyst dipping version. The good news is that I like it no matter which way it turns out. This is kind of what it looks like when it's a little bit thinner. It's a deeper purple. And then when you get a thicker application, I find you get more of those pinks floating to the top, which I kind of prefer, but anyway, still tweaking the specific gravity and dipping time and all that good stuff. In general, this was, as expected, a better result because you've got the purple and you've got the turquoise, and then there's that section here where the amethyst is floating over the turquoise. I suspect that a longer dip of amethyst would make this even more interesting, but the combination of the two does encourage running. This was a fairly thick application of Laguna's Power Turquoise. So again, all that stuff is going to make a difference. So I didn't show you the dipping of this, again, because it's frankly not very interesting, but also because I find with dipping glazes, even more than brushing glazes, the results that you get depend so much on how you apply the glaze. So what the specific gravity of your glaze is, how viscous it is, how long you dip for, what cone you fire your work to. You really are going to have to test this yourself. But I feel fairly confident in saying that Power Turquoise and Amethyst, if you're using the brushing versions of these, should, turn out with some kind of variation of this look. And this mug is perfectly lovely. I'm obviously going to have to sand that down, and as long as there's no big air pockets inside there, which sometimes happens when you have a big drip, and if I kind of unearth one of those, then generally I will consider this a second. But other than that, the surface is great. It's nice and smooth, no real pinholes. Lovely result. I also tried the Power Turquoise and Amethyst combo on a flat surface. So this obviously is a spoon rest, and you can really see here where I dipped the Power Turquoise to and where I dipped the Amethyst to. This wedge here is the overlap. It behaved really nicely on a flat surface. I think I almost like this better than this, but I mean, splitting hairs. They both turned out well. Again, where it overlapped did generate more running. So just be careful of that it can be a bit of a runner. But a very pretty combination, I think. However, my favorite out of all of these tests is this one, and this is Floating Turquoise with snow on top. Learning, again, from the last round of tests that I did, I only put a small layer of snow here. So in part, it was just laziness. I didn't want to use the tongs. So I just kind of held it and dunked it, and so that snow only came about as far as that. The other thing that I did a little bit differently is that I made sure I had a nice thick application. So the Floating Turquoise dried completely, and then I dipped it into the snow. Sometimes snow will crawl. The nice thing is that if you get sections where it maybe isn't adhering as well, because this is such a fluid glaze, it doesn't matter. It just adds to the interest of it. And there's a few things I love about this. One is kind of this fluidity where you're seeing the drips, and you can't tell because you're on camera, but you can feel these drips. So usually when this happens, the glaze will kind of level itself out, and so visually you'll see a drip, but I find usually you can't feel it. In this case, there's a very tactile sensation to this, which could be quite nice if you were, on a mug and you're holding the mug. I don't think it really matters for a little succulent planter. I love the darker blue floating up, and I love how the white, especially in places like this, has floated up. So there's just there's a lot happening in this glaze. And then the little kind of copper colored floating bits that come up along the borders, and there's some throughout the glaze itself. It's just beautiful, and it's a very beachy vibe, especially in here. You see this almost looks like a waterfall. Very oceany, very beachy. It's really too bad that this is on the inside and it's a planter and nobody's ever going to see it, because I love that. This is going to work its way into my glazing repertoire for sure. I like this. I'm not sure if it'll go into kind of my production work, but this definitely. So there you have it. I hope you found something interesting in here, something useful. If you do give any of these a try, I'd love to hear how it goes. You can actually put photos into, I don't know if it's called a community on your end. I think it might just be like the posts tab, but either way, you can post pictures there, and I'd love to see some of your results if you try any of these combos. Or you can post it on Instagram and tag me at Maritime Ceramics. As always, thank you for spending some time with me today, and until next time, happy potting.